Good morning, Tarkov. As people are filing in, I'll be speaking to the VOD mostly here. You guys are watching the VOD after the fact. Don't worry. I understand that not everyone can catch this show because I know it's early in the morning. At least for the for us Americans in the world. But I'm still hoping that it can help some people out. Hopefully, it'll answer some of the questions that you might be interested in. So this is the Good Morning Tarkov show. If you guys are watching the VOD, check out the description and check out the top of the pinned comment at the top of the comments, and you'll see some timestamps of what we're going to be talking about today. The way I usually do these is I have a topic for the day. I usually spend, the first 15 minutes or so, well, first off, hanging out with you guys and saying good morning, all that stuff, and then I talk about today's topic, and then we get to some Q&A, and we kind of figure out if anyone has any issues or if they have any questions or anything with that topic for that day, or just generally speaking, just Tarkov in general. And once the wipe pops up or once a big update pops up, we can just kind of discuss what might be in that update and anything that you guys might just want to talk about for Tarkov in general. So today we're going to be talking wipes and clips. So just generally speaking, if there's going to be any questions or anything that you guys want to discuss regarding the wipe, I heard some weird things that for some reason people called that video I made the other day misinformation, and it's absolutely not the case because it's an opinion. It is my speculation, and I made that super clear. So if you guys don't know the difference, or if anyone ever says that they don't know the difference and it's misinformation, it doesn't make any sense. I'm not BSG. Don't get mad at BSG. Don't get mad at Nikita if this doesn't end up happening. That's the whole point. And I'm not the only creator that says that. A couple things popped up, so that kind of perturbed me a little bit. So there's a difference, guys. There is a difference. So I wanted to get to that today. And then anything you guys want to talk about for the wipe, if you can't catch the entire stream, you can catch the VOD later. Or I made my video talking about 12.11, which I believe is going to be a wipe. I put up that video a few days ago, so you can go check that out as well. And I did want to go over to Reddit and check out some of the clips. I went over there. I was looking for topics to see if there's any hot topics that people are kind of like discussing and stuff over there. But it just turned into like it's all clips, pretty much all clips over there on the Reddit. So maybe we'll check out some clips depending on what's going on today. But yeah, let's get to it here. What up, Flash? What up, Hammer Time? What up, Mad? It makes sense. You're the first since you're Flash. Oh yeah, what? Morning, Emperor. Morning, Alexander. Morning, Ezra. Good luck with work and or school. In general, I mean, this is technically my job. But yeah. Boy, hello, Abner. We need a wipe so bad. A wipe would be very good right now, yeah. So we're waiting for people to trickle on in, to funnel on in. Once the numbers get up a little bit, then we can get to today's topic. But so for a couple minutes here, I'll just kind of hang out with you guys. Morning, Brad. Good night here. Yeah. Well, in Tarkov, in real, because I'm coming to you guys from. Oh my God! I can't believe this is the only time I've thought of this. I think I might. Maybe I'll go and like make like a whole studio from like one of the skyscrapers in streets. Why have I not thought of this sooner? Oh my God, I'm taking a note right there. I think I know what I'm working on today. What if I went and photoshopped like a studio out of like one of the skyscrapers on streets, and there's like shit going on. There's like, oh my God, that sounds awesome. I'm gonna look into that. Coming to you actually live from Tarkov, the real Tarkov. It's actually Good Morning. Oh my God, I'm gonna do that. I have to get my shit together and do that. Actually, take a note about that. That's the Photoshop. That might be really cool. I'm gonna look into that today. Good morning, Kodo. Actually managed to catch one of these live. Yeah, depending on where you guys are in the world, that might be it might be a bit difficult there. How's it going? Going well. Going and doing. The way that these work is I literally wake up, I grab some coffee, and I kind of think about what subject we should talk about today for a little bit, and then I just go live. So I just woke up. and we're here to talk Tarkov. Are you a dev? I am absolutely not a dev. I am just a super nerd, a super fan, a super nerd for the game itself. I've been following it and playing it for years now, and you know, theoretically, if there was going to be some kind of tier for tier, who knows the most about Escape from Tarkov, when it comes to news, or when it comes to like the future of the game, I would put myself in that that top top 5-ish people outside of BSG. But generally speaking, everything Tarkov, I have thousands of hours in the game, and I keep very close eye on the development of the game, so that's kind of how I see it. The nice... Hey, Morloff, how you doing, man? Hope you're doing well, dude. Wait, so how do you know about the wipe? It's not... So here's the thing, guys. If you guys need to know more about the wipe, go check out my video I put up a few days ago about 12.11. I am not a dev. I don't know certainty. Like, if there's no certainties that 12.11 is going to be a wipe, there's not even a date discussed in there. It's just about a month. And I make that super, super clear. But there is no public information from BSG on 12.11 or the next wipe for that matter. So I go into detail with that, and I talk about that in that. Also, let me know, guys. Is the music too loud? I'll turn it down. Let me just turn it down a smidge here, and then we'll get into today's topic. Wipes Thursday, yeah. So that's the normal meme. Everyone just says Wipes Thursday. Over here, I try to get, that's like a meme. If it's going to happen, or when the wipe eventually does happen, it's probably going to be on a Thursday, because that's like a game development, or just like that's just not necessarily game development, but it happens a lot in game development. But just software development in general, it makes sense to have something like a content release, or what would be I'm blanking on the word. It would be a release candidate, have a release candidate, or actually go live on a Thursday, because you have the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to work on it. Thursday, you're going to upload it in the morning. You have that whole day to kind of figure out any problems that might pop up, and then you have a whole ass work day with the Friday there to work on any problems that might pop up, and then you start talking about weekend and if people are going to be staying late and stuff like that. So it just makes sense for something to happen on a Thursday. Sure, they could do it whenever, but what's Tarkov? Yeah, exactly. What is Tarkov? That's such a deep question, Jack. So yeah, that's like the current meme. Lots of them have happened on Thursdays because it just makes sense to be on a Thursday. So that's like the whole meme behind that. But when it comes to, since today's topic is going to be wipes, and then we can get into that. When it comes to actually trying to guess when a wipe would be, it's based on the content. There's lots of times when, yeah, you know what? We can just go into today's topic. We had enough people here. So I'm going to roll in today's topic, which is wipes. And I know I said wipes and clips, but the clips is going to be a little bit later if we have time. We're going to go check out some clips on Reddit. We'll check out the top clips and stuff. But today is generally speaking, in terms of the thing that I wanted to get to today, was wipes and why they're needed and stuff like that. And if you don't have time to catch the entire lecture, or whatever you guys want to call this topic here for this VOD, I do have several videos explaining what wipes are and why they're here and why they're useful and things like that. And generally speaking, when it comes to games that are still in development, wipes are actually not, it's not an option, because there's going to be back-end things. There's going to be changes to the game. I'll make this as simple as possible. There's going to be changes to the game that require a clean slate. So not necessarily from like a, just to screw everyone over standpoint. It's literally just because that content doesn't exist anymore. So if there's going to be changes to if they do something to the economy, if they do something to how a weapon works or how an ammo type works, that whatever, like I said, I'm trying to make this as easy to understand as possible. That data that you understood before, whatever that might be, does not exist anymore. So that is part of the reason why. And then also a secondary thing to that would be, we are here to test things. So part of that testing process is actually leveling up and playing the game and progressing in the game with these items in game. So if everyone's already progressed and everyone, or at least the majority of the community, is already at a certain level, then everything below that level isn't being tested, right? So we need to wipe everyone, and unfortunately, it's some people get caught off guard. They buy into the game too late. They start playing too late, and it doesn't end up working out for them, and it's really disappointing. But hey, at least you got a little bit of time in, and you got to understand a little bit about the game, and now you're on the same level as everyone. So as difficult as it was for you to get to level 12 or 15 or whatever it might have been before the wipe ended up happening because you showed up late, you get to do that now, but without level 40s, 50s, 60s, shooting at you with the high-end gear that they've had for months, and they're skilled out of their mind with all the stims and all the best ammo and all the best armor and all that stuff. Everyone's going to be at the same level, and that is actually a cool, and that's kind of what I go for, really, when everyone is at the same level and it's sort of like a race. I personally, and I know I'm not alone with this, but there is a section of the community, which I don't exactly know how large this is. It could be half, it could be more, but there definitely is a significant section of the community that really, really, really has a lot of fun racing. Like, everyone starts at 0. Can we get to that endgame gear? Can we get to those best weapons? And then you can use that to your advantage to just basically control maps and control raids every time you go into it. And that's what creates those problems, and that's actually creating a really, really useful test environment for the economy and for progression in general for the game. So if it were me, I would have wipes like every 3 months until we get something that actually makes sense, because the last couple-ish wipes, maybe the last handful of wipes here, it's been super, super quick. People were literally like, I mean, I had killer armor, and I had wow, I'm blanking on the killer's ammo there. Blah. A Golnik. I had a Golnik day 2. Like, so there's stuff like that pops up, and then you can also farm raiders, and you've got that. I mean, unless you end up getting the war mage out of them, but hell, even early wipe war mage ends up being okay, because not so many people have that super useful armor. But yeah, so anyway, it's good for testing that kind of stuff to actually poke holes in the economy and get that stuff to actually be useful before the launch of the game. Because what's going to really, really suck is when the game, or if, not when, if the game launches and the economy is in pieces. Like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Well, obviously the game's going to launch at some point, but what I'm saying specifically is if we don't actually poke holes and test the economy properly, then we're going to get to that launch day. Everyone's going to be so excited and be, all right, we're good to go. And then we completely forgot to actually pay attention to what actually matters, which is the actual lifespan of the game and how we're going to be able to interact with it and appreciate it and stuff like that. So we got to make sure that the economy actually makes sense, progression actually makes sense. There's a bunch of balance behind that, but behind the balance, we've also got, as realistic as playable, which goes down a whole another rabbit hole there. And there's just a lot to it. So wipes are at the core of that, and it allows us to make sure the game is progressing correctly and allows us to test each, release candidate actually, or each patch probably, properly is what I meant to say, properly. So yeah, so those are wipes in general. That's my, outlook on them, and that's why they're needed and stuff like that. It's unfortunate that some people get caught up with only, a couple days, maybe even hell, a few raids into a wipe before there's another one, unfortunately for them. But it's just part of the process. The game's still in development. Am I back? If you guys can hear me, hit one in the chat if we're back. Let me know. You guys hear me? One. Okay. One. Okay, so we're back. We are back. Hello? Okay. I didn't drop a single frame. It didn't say that I disconnected or anything. I don't know. Okay, we're good, guys. We're good. Welcome to, here's another thing too why I like doing these morning shows is because I used to stream on Twitch all the time, but there's a very real example of why, the Twitch streams have been non-existent recently, because if that happens on Twitch, I'm going to have to restart my stream. Luckily for YouTube, it picks it back up whenever shit like that happens, but I have no idea what's causing that, and that's why it's chaos whenever I try to stream on Twitch. So if anyone's wondering, that's why. I have no idea what the last thing you guys heard was. I hope you heard my closing there with the wipes. If you didn't, did the stream restart? Did it completely restart? It says 15 minutes for me. I don't think it's, I don't think you, no, the stream delay is like, I think it's like, I don't know, it's maybe it's like 6 to 10 seconds, something like that. There's a bunch of reasons behind that. Okay. I think we're good. I don't think it restarted. So, I don't know if you guys caught the end of my, looks like you did. Said yes. Some people said no. All right. So I'll just wrap it up again here real quick. In general, if you need to know more about wipes, I have several videos specifically on wipes and what they do and why they're useful. And it's everything that I just explained there. And when it comes to specifically the next wipe and things like that, don't yell at PSG, don't yell at Nikitas. Don't. It's not anyone else's idea or opinion other than mine, and this is like my speculation, and this is my thought with following the game as closely as I have over the past. I've been following very closely for years, but over the past few months, in particular for this wipe, I think that it makes sense for 12.11 to be a wipe. That doesn't mean I heard anything. That doesn't mean it doesn't mean that, BSG is making any kind of movement to do that. It just makes sense. This current wipe has taken long enough. The content for that next wipe makes sense. So personally, I think that 12.11 makes sense to be a wipe. And if anyone's freaking out that they haven't said anything or anything yet, just keep in mind that the last wipe, they literally gave us 1 day's notice. They don't want people freaking out. They don't want people actually selling all their stuff and all that stuff, which now that I said that, it makes sense that I probably shouldn't be doing stuff like this, but, there's good ways to do it. So I will just explain to you guys that we don't have a date for 12.11 yet, but I still believe that 12.11 is going to be a wipe. So if you are someone that's going to be super, super disappointed if 12.11 ends up being a wipe and then it ends up popping up out of nowhere this week or next week or whatever, and that's not specific, that just could be, in the next couple weeks here, we could be seeing 12.11. Then maybe use your gear, maybe not. I don't know. I'm just giving you guys any kind of proper heads up that I believe would be useful to you. And we don't have any specific information, although unless we hear something specific about 12.11, which I'll make sure to tell you guys, then, maybe start thinking about using your gear, or maybe you need a break if you're going to be playing after the wipe. That's specifically what I do. I know that I do a last couple, big chunkus raids here with the big armor and the good ammo and stuff like that. And then I usually take a break for a couple days at least, because I know once that wipe hits, I'm going to be going full force Tarkov. That's personally what I do. So giving you guys the proper heads up. It doesn't mean, go tell everyone that Nikita said that 12.11 is going to be a wipe, because he literally didn't. No one from PSG has. This is just my opinion on that. And anyway, that's today's topic with the wipes. I know I said wipes and clips, but a little bit later we might go check out some clips on Reddit. All right, let's put this music up. Put the music up a little bit more. And the sun decided to show up, so I'm going to take my sweatshirt off. I'll be right back. Let's get the questions popping. If you guys don't know the format, make sure you check out... Make sure you use at nice guy space Tarkov. I'll put it in chat a couple times here. And I will turn that down a little bit as well. So what we're looking for here, I'll put it in chat here. But I've been getting a lot of them. Mostly probably won't. Loot panels. I hope the stream isn't dropping a lot. It doesn't seem like it is. All right, so make sure when you guys are asking me questions specifically, you use the at nice guy space Tarkov, and then you ask your question. All right, I'm gonna take my sweatshirt off real quick because the sun showed up and it just got really hot. All right, so hopefully these questions will be basically specifically around the wipe and whatnot, but I'll really just kind of take any kind of questions that you guys might have. I agree with you. I think 12.11 is going to be a wipe. Yeah, so that doesn't mean go around saying specifically that, 12.11 is going to be a wipe. Make sure you guys say exactly what JC Locke just said here. I think 12.11 is going to be a wipe, not it will be a wipe. You got to make sure that is specific there. Is the inertia update coming with 12.11? As far as I know, no. As far as I know. I know that they were going to be messing with it soon, and there were going to be some testing, some things here and there. But personally, I haven't heard anything specific about it. And, granted, we haven't heard really anything super, super specific about 12.11 recently. The last time that we heard anything about 12.11 was when 12.10 released. They did their dev stream for 12.10. So because 12.11 wasn't necessarily the focus, it doesn't mean we know absolutely everything. But then, if you want to, excuses, I'll get my excuses out of the way there when I go and make a video, say everything 12.11. It's because it's literally everything that we have that's public information for 12.11. So if you want any information whatsoever on 12.11, that's it. That is what we have. Also, in that video, I know that I said there's a possibility they could do the scope rework. I messed up with that one thing there. The scope rework is planned for 12.11. So we could be getting some variable scopes, and it could be some FPS increases with when you ADS and stuff like that. So the scope rework is supposed to be coming with 12.11. That's planned. Nothing on VoIP if you mean VoIP. Factory expansion. Will the raid time extend after expansion as well as the player count? Generally speaking, when they increase the map size, they do increase the player size, the amount of the. Generally speaking, when they increase the map size, they do increase the player count as well. So I'm assuming that. When it comes to raid time, I'm not certain. We'll see. We'll see with the raid time. Fan of game, if you're going to ask a question, do, you know, the @ space, @nice guy space Tarkov, and then ask your question. Oh, also, I'll get my slideshow going up here. All right, if you guys want something added, if you guys have a cool screenshot, or if you have anything that you want to be shown on stream, I do take screenshots from the community. So if you guys go over to Twitter, @a_nice guy, and then literally just tweet at me if you guys have a cool screenshot, as long as it's appropriate to be on stream. I'll put it in the slideshow here. And if you wouldn't mind dropping a follow over there as well, I'm at like 940 followers. I'm trying to get to 1,000. Would be much appreciated. Also, guys, I turned up my mic today. I don't know if it's super noticeable. Let me know if you guys, if it is noticeable, or if it's quiet, or if it's peaking or anything. Give me some feedback on my mic. I did turn it up a bit. And you talk about additional expansions or anything, or the reversal of the hideout expenses? Reversal, theoretically, the current hideout, like the current nerfs, as we would call them, because everything's more expensive to the hideout. Theoretically, that is temporary because it is there to move with the current economy. So we'll have to see with the next wipe. That's no super specific information. I haven't heard anything specifically about that, but it is my theory that because the economy blew up with the Bitcoin and all that stuff, I think they did that for it to make sense with the current economy. So it could very well go back down. What's your opinion on time getting specific loot? What's your opinion on time getting specific loot like high tier armor and ammo? So when it comes to that, we were talking about that a lot yesterday, so I don't want to get too much into this here today, guys, when it comes to like hatchet running and secure containers and stuff like that. We've been talking about secure containers a lot lately, or the last couple days. There's an as realistic as playable thing that comes along with that. And also, I think there's other ways that you can do that involve better gameplay. So I think that what they could do is they could either put, even a boss. They could put bosses. They could put scavs. They could even put scav factions. They could mess with the rooms a little bit more. There is some more dynamic economy changes coming along that might help what you're thinking about there. But in terms of just having loot appear mid-raid, I don't necessarily agree with because there is a time factor to that. So if people know that loot is just going to magically appear 5 minutes into the game, I think that it changes something about the game that we're not necessarily going to like, because it's not necessarily realistic. It doesn't really make sense. So there's always going to be that kind of gray area between hatchet runner and pistoling and actual full geared guy racing to those specific areas on the map. And like I said, I think there's ways that you can kind of mess with that to include better gameplay, like like I said, the scavs and whatnot. Other than making something as unrealistic, not that everything is super realistic in this game, but as unrealistic as putting the timer on when loot would magically pop up. Do you think BSG will make scheduled wipes or anything? So what they're going to do is at launch, they're going to have separate servers. There's going to be a persistent server, and persistent meaning it never wipes, and then there's going to be periodical wipes, meaning that, every once in a while it does wipe. Excuse me, I gotta take a drink of water. So persistent and periodical. So whether it be 3 months, 5 months, hopefully it's not much longer than that with the periodical wipes. But yeah, that's the plan for launch. It could even be a little bit sooner, but I know that it's planned to have a server set up like that. Do you think that current state of Tarkov needs more balance in the stamina, specifically when PMC is overweight? Not really. Not until we get the armor hitboxes and the custom rigs do I want to see anything extra with the weight, because I think that's gonna mess with it significantly. Think they'll ever revisit the idea of a demo playback for Tarkov? Similar to how CSGO has it. I honestly don't know what you're talking about. When it comes to demos of the game, I know they're worried about hackers and RMT. Anything that makes it easier to get quick access to the game for free, you have to be really careful with the cheaters and RMT and stuff like that. Has there been any screenshots or clips showing the new factory expansion? No, there hasn't. There has not. Do you think killing raiders should be bad rep? Should be bad for rep due to them being ex-PMC? No, because they're ex-PMC. You answered your own question there. Actually, they're bad guys now. That's why the PMC karma is going to be a little bit difficult, because it's going to be, Bear versus USEC, USEC versus USEC and stuff. So we'll see how it goes with scavs, and then we'll move on to PMCs next. But no, I don't think it should count for killing raiders because they're hostile. What would you think of feign death button faking out long range shots? Could be interesting. Could definitely be interesting. I don't know how that would work in game past that, and I feel like that would be super, super buggy. But I don't know. Could be interesting. Do you know if Lighthouse is meant to be before Streets? I do, and yes, it is. So it's supposed to be factory expansion, Lighthouse, or at least given on the past, given the the most recent information that we have on it, it's supposed to be factory expansion, Lighthouse, and then Streets. All in about the span of a year. Boop boop. Do you think? Oh my God, we're getting visited by another Hornet, but he's not in my face. No, he's flying away. We're good. Do you think for the next wipe they should make the Bitcoin a separate currency with its own trader? No, I think everything's okay with the Bitcoin. They do just need to curve it a little bit more to make sense in game. I know it was super interesting when they had it actually work with in real life, the IRL costs and the evaluations, or whatever you want to call it. Prices is the word I was looking for there. Price of Bitcoin. But it really screwed up Tarkov. So hopefully they curve that a little bit. Do you think removing the flea market will ever be feasible? I have a video specifically about that, and some of my opinions have changed slightly with that. But generally speaking, I played Escape from Tarkov, and plenty of people have played Escape from Tarkov without a flea market whatsoever, and it was perfectly fine. So based off of that, yes, it will definitely be feasible because it's proven to be fine. But given the circumstances and how the game works nowadays, it could use some tweaking. And like I said, that's a whole rabbit hole, and I have a whole video explaining my opinions on that. And like I said, they've been tweaked a little bit. They've changed a little bit over time, but generally speaking, I still agree with that video I made back talking about removing the flea market and stuff like that. Will killing raiders be bad for rep due to... Yeah, so I already explained that. Any idea if they'll ever think about adding a demo playback? I already answered that. How much harder do you think building your hideout from scratch will be, given the new changes to the hideout construction? Already kind of answered that. But just to be clear with that, I believe, it's my opinion, that the reason why they made everything so expensive in the hideout was to, counteract the economy. It's the current economy and how much money everyone has. I believe that after wipe, it should go back down. We'll see. Is Lighthouse at 12.11? No. Lighthouse is after 12.11. After 12.11, before Streets. So, 12.11 is supposed to be factory expansion. At some point after that, we've got Lighthouse, whether it be 12. It might not, I don't think it'll be even 12.12, 12.13, 12.14. Maybe we're going to start seeing it maybe around like a 12.15 kind of patch, and then work your way up to patch 13. And when I say 13, that's not 12.13. It's literally 13. Like, that's it. So patch 12.11, patch 12.12, patch 12.13, patch 12.14, so on, so on, so on. And then eventually, after you get to like 12.19, that is when it would make sense to be a patch 13, but theoretically they can do it whenever they want. That patch 13 is supposed to be Streets. Also, I think they might add like, I think they're going to be pushing to get the custom rigs in there as well, if not sooner. What's happening with the wipe? You're the 5th or 6th YouTuber to talk about it. It's not, so we don't have specific information. It is just that I believe that 12.11 makes sense to be a wipe. We haven't heard any dates or anything yet, as of yet. I got to make sure these days that I have Twitter running. I do have a notification. That's for active creation, so never mind. So yeah, if you guys want to know anything about specifics about the wipe, you can go check out my 12.11 video. Everything 12.11, and notice how I didn't put wipe in the title or anything, although I did put it as the key, like the key to the tags for it or whatever, but it's not in the title because we don't actually know for sure. It's just 12.11. 12.11 is going to be the next patch, so if you want to check out that video, I put it up 3 days ago, I think. I already got that. 12.11 needs to be a wipe because I'm level 21, and everyone who plays with me in Discord are level 40 plus. Everyone, including 6 or 7 year old, has a higher level than me. Yes, Sixers. Oof. Welcome to Tarkov. That kid's a badass. Then. Do you think wipes are? Do you think wipes will still be a thing when the game is all done? I know for a fact because there's going to be periodical wipes and there's going to be persistent servers. Jack, you can cool if people are asking to, just make sure that they're not like spamming. Rob Boss is all good there. Rob Boss was okay there because I'm a little bit behind on questions here, guys. Just make sure if you're scrolling through the chat, make sure you don't see your own question here again. Looks like some people are misbehaving, but I'll get to that when I get to that. And it looks like Jack, you might have it handled, so I think we're good there. You think BSG should put in a short post-raid survey for every raid when you die? There's the report button back on the launcher, so if you really feel like you need to do that, you can do that. Also, there's those buttons that say whether it's the bad connection, you think that person's cheating. And there's another thing. What is the other thing? You can report his name, his or her name, if it's a bad name. Let's be honest, it's mostly dudes that are doing the edgy names. Mike is good. Okay, thanks. Yeah, guys, I'm behind on the questions here. We had all that stuff happen. So I will eventually get to your questions here. Just make sure you're not spamming them. Do you think that people just sitting in windows on streets will be a problem? Absolutely. Good luck finding them. Welcome to Tarkov. Welcome to Tarkov with that. It could totally be a problem. Make sure you're looking for them and make sure you're moving so that you can not get hit by them. Welcome to Tarkov. Do you think the open world will have the loot respawn after a full day night cycle? I am not sure. That is one of the things that I am not up to date with at all because I don't think BSG are even that far in planning yet. So they need to get to the map-to-map travel, and then they need to get to open world, and then they'll probably start figuring out stuff like that. Although I'm sure they have an idea of course, but I don't actually know. Do you think being able to go to labs on Scav Run with max rep? Interesting. I don't know. I guess that could possibly make sense, but then again, players are going to be able to see that, so I think the notoriety of labs being so secret that scavs don't know about it or scavs aren't able to get into it or that it's that secure kind of a thing is unique. So maybe not, but we'll see. Demo being an in-game replay system. Oh, Ray Manovich, if you mean like the theater mode thing, the theater mode they do have plans for like a theater mode thing where it's going to fit into the lore because Peacekeeper is going to have some drones flying around or something like that. That's the current idea with that. But if you are talking about like a specific gameplay demo where someone with a new account can go and test the game, that's a no-go for me. But if you do mean demo by an in-game replay system, it absolutely will not be a kill cam. There will never be a kill cam in Escape from Tarkov. But after the raid is finished, there could be something for like a theater mode or something for like machinimas and being able to see who killed you, where they were, and all that stuff. And that's actually tomorrow's topic. If we do get to tomorrow's topic, there might be something else that pops up for tomorrow. But as it stands right now, the current plan for tomorrow is it is going to get easier. Things will get easier, something like that. And that's one of those things. So along with tutorials and stuff, that's one of those things we'll talk about tomorrow. By demo playback, I mean being able to rewatch your... Okay, so we already got that. What do you think about a rewatch option for the time when the raid ended? Yep, already got that. Just answered it. Do you think there will be a change to keys so that they have a number of uses before breaking, as it would adjust the value late wipe? I mean, plenty of keys already do that. I'm not sure if too many others need to have that. But it is an interesting idea. It is an interesting idea to have like the unique or the expensive keys have uses. But then again, if they start to have uses, then they would be easier to find. So it's something that we're going to need to be tested and balanced correctly. So we'll see. Your in-game streamer item should be a Hornet. Okay. No, I don't know about that. Maybe like a Hornety, like a crazy Hornety round or something, maybe. What do you think is the best thing the game will get benefit from the Unity 19 update? I made a video specifically about Unity 19, and I think it has something to do with the fog, if I remember correctly. There's some kind of volumetric fog update or something that you can get specifically with Unity 19, and we all know how much of a bitch fog is these days. Or it's been like that for a very long time. So I'm looking forward to that specifically, and then I also think there's some back-end stuff that they could do with that too. Like I said, there's a video specifically about Unity 19 where I actually went and asked like actual professionals in the game industry what they think of Unity 19 and people that have actually moved from Unity 18 to 19 specifically, you know, stuff like that. So that's a good video. If you want to learn more about that, go check that one out. What do you think is the best? I already answered that. That guy seemed somewhat all right. Make sure, hey, if you guys are asking about the wipe, I'm seeing a shit ton of people ask about the wipe. Guys, listen to people, and some people are saying Thursday, some people are saying other video. If you guys actually need to know about the wipe, check out my video about 12.11. Check out my video about 12.11, guys. Generally speaking, though, don't yell at BSG, don't yell at Nikita if this doesn't end up happening. It is my personal thought that patch 12.11 will be a wipe. That's not like confirmed. Don't go around saying that the wipe is going to be 12.11. What you should be saying is, nice guy said he thinks that patch 12.11 will be a wipe. So if you want to go with that, go with that. If you don't, don't. That's how I'm running things right now. Until we hear otherwise. Will they improve falling, for example, implementation animation that blocks you from shooting in the air like in DayZ? I mean, they kind of already do that. It's super, super difficult to hit things midair already. So I'm not sure what more they would do about that. Specifically their crackers. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, guys, anything regarding the wipe, I just mentioned it. Or go check out my 12.11 video. I talk about it more. The safe streets will have a metro system underground. There's going to be both above and underground areas for streets. We'll see if it's going to be a metro system. It makes sense to have something down there. Now, if it's going to be as significant as something like Operation Metro from Battlefield, we'll see. Or whatever they ended up updating it for, like Battlefield 5 and stuff. I know they've redone that map like 6 times by now, but whether it's going to be something as significant as that, who knows? I mean, other than BSG knows, but we don't know. The way that I see that running, though, at the absolute minimum, is something like what we see with factories' tunnels. So at the absolute minimum, expect there to be some kind of like piping systems or sewer systems or something like that you can go and move from under building to building, stuff like that. Now, I don't necessarily mean every single building. In fact, that's very, very unlikely for that to be a thing. But somewhere in the map, do expect there to be, whether it be a sewer system or underground parking garages and stuff. We've already seen, excuse me, we've already seen shots of that. And we also already know that it is in the works to have map-to-map travel come to streets. And, of course, it's going to be like the open world and the whole planning system with that. The whole plan's behind that, where you will no longer be able to just exit from labs itself. The current thought behind it is that you will have to go from streets or factory. I think it's either both now. I'm going to have to relook into this myself, so don't take this as gospel in terms of what map to move to what. The only thing that I know is planned for certain is that you will no longer be able to queue into labs. You will have to queue into either factory or streets, find the entrance to labs, go to labs, do whatever you need to do on labs, and then leave labs, and you will then pop up back into either factory or streets, and then survive factory or streets in order to actually get your labs run done. I know that that's in the works, that's planned and whatnot, and we'll see what ends up happening with that. Will Black Division, will the Black Division, I'm assuming you mean B, will the Black Division be a player faction or an AI faction? As it stands right now, I've adjusted my theory with that. I think that it makes the most sense for it to be a player faction, because if you guys are looking at the slideshow there, we've seen patches that literally say, and armbands that literally say Black Division on them, which sure, that proves that they're going to be a thing, but why the hell would the Black Division wear a patch or a armband that says Black Division on it? They're supposed to be like super stealthy, super operator kind of people over there. So I think what's going to end up happening with it is the top 1,000 players in Arena or the top 1,000 players in the world or both or something like that are going to end up being the quote-unquote black division, because you're going to have that armband that says, hey, look at me, I'm the top 1,000 player or whatever. Otherwise, I don't think it makes much sense. It could be both. It very well could be AI and it could be player. But I think if there's going to be one or the other, I think it makes most sense to be a player faction at this point. Not a player faction, a player, like a cosmetic thing at this point, or like a title at this point. When did they talk about persistent periodic wipes? They've been talking about it for months, man. There's been that's over a year now that they've talked about that being in the plans. So really, any podcast from BSG or from Nikita over like literally the last year, I'm sure he's talked about it. In almost all of them, if not most of them. Should they make examining instant when you're in the main menu? That would make sense, wouldn't it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure why it's not already. So unless there's a good reason why it is that way, I would agree with that. Yeah. Do you think that there should be more game-changing content for a wipe? There isn't much with 12.11. Well, the thing is that goes into also the timing. I personally think that scav karma is going to be pretty huge. Lots of people that aren't chads are running around with the best stuff and know exactly where and when everyone should be where and when. Use scavs use scavs to their advantage quite well. So if you're not able to just kill everything in sight as a scav, I think it's going to be a pretty significant change. Also, we have some new guns popping up. We have the factory expansion coming up. I think in terms of both the content and the amount of time that it has been since the last wipe, and keeping in mind everything that has happened since the last wipe, it makes complete sense, and it really, in my opinion, really should be a wipe, and I know I'm not alone with that. But, opinions aside, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. So, like I said, might end up not happening, so remember to yell at me and not Nikita or BSG if it doesn't end up happening. But, I mean, I've said it like 6 times already, and I've said it in that video a couple times already as well. It just makes sense. So that's why I'm thinking 12.11 might be a wipe. If BSG wants to slow progression, how come they never address the issue of how much easier it is in a squad? They choose all their quests together. So they want it to actually be a squad game, and we're not quite... Okay, that's too much. If that ends up being actually 50 USD, that's too much, bud. I like these streams, have some money. Okay, thanks. If that's 50 US, you didn't need to do that, man. We'll see what we'll have it pop up here, I'm assuming, in the alert. Much appreciated, of course, but that's don't go doing that, man. It's okay. Thank you. I don't want to be talking over the alert. I'm sure it's gonna pop up here any minute now. 15.
Use like microwave.
I like these streams. Have some money.
Okay, thanks, Kodo. Appreciate it. Where is my train of thought going? Can we go back over there? Okay, so progression-wise, Nikita has said many times since the beginning of development that he wants this to be a squad game, and that's actually going to be one of my priorities for the future of Escape from Tarkov. I'm looking to really nail squad play for the average player. So there's going to be some things that I put into play here with communication and stuff like that that I'm going to be making videos about in the future that you guys will see coming once Streets pops up, because I want to start with Streets. Since it is going to be the most difficult and the largest map, I figured why not hit that first. So when it comes to squad play, I know that they want this to be a squad shooter. They want to think of it as a squad-based shooter. They want to think of when it comes to balance and stuff like that, they're thinking it much of from the three-player squad and then down at, or no, sorry, 3-player squad at minimum kind of a thing. They're obviously going to look at how squads play, and they're obviously going to look at how, from a player-to-player standpoint, things play out and things balance and whatnot. But generally speaking, I think they value what a squad can do more than a player, actually. So we'll see what ends up happening in the at launch in the endgame. What's the point of having a max level in the game? Not much right now. Not much. Endgame's not there. What do you think about Black Division being in raids to hunt PMCs? If it ends up being AI, I'm sure that could be a thing. But like I said, I don't think it makes as much sense as I used to think that it would be AI. I think it's going to be something that's like a cosmetic or like a title or something, given that it literally says Black Division on the armbands and stuff, and I highly doubt that somebody like that or a unit like that would do that. I am super behind with the questions. super behind with the questions. What do you think about Black Division? Okay, I already got that. Do you think we will get more stuff in the hideout? Yes, a lot more. There's even going to be, I believe, some extra DLCs that expand the hideout more. There's more coming to the hideout, yes. I still feel like I want to be fun and arcadey to have some fun playing Tarkov. Arena, you're going to watch. I'm going to do a lightning round here, guys, until I catch up. So if you don't like my answer, we still have a few minutes here. After you hear my answer, you can ask it again, but, be a little bit more specific with your question, and I might be able to help you out more specifically. But I'm going to lightning round this until I catch up, because I'm behind. I still feel like I want Tarkov to be fun and arcadey, which, again, fun and arcadey is not Tarkov. You're playing the wrong game if that's what you want, but wait for Arena and check out Arena and see what you think about that. Tarkov is not Call of Duty. Tarkov is Tarkov. Your streamer item should be a newspaper and a coffee. Yeah. It's my opinion that BSG has become more focused on PvP combat. PvP combat is vital to the health of the game, really, because that is the entire community. So you have to make sure you keep the community happy, and that's what everyone sees on a day-to-day basis. It's going to be player versus player, right? That's what makes the most sense, especially when AI are going to be, more as the game progresses and as people start making more and more tutorials about how scavs work, where they spawn, where the scav bosses are. It's going to that makes sense to look at it from a PvP point of view. And Arena is going to curve that a bit more. So once Arena ends up showing up. So if you are worried about, for some reason, it being, PvP or whatever, then maybe slow your game down a little bit, or maybe, try and even pick it up. Maybe you're not looking at the right streamers. Maybe, based off of your play style or based off of your pace that you set for yourself in game, you need to make some adjustments to try and help yourself out there a little bit. And if you need more explanation on that, or if you need more help on that, check out like new player guides and stuff. And you might not necessarily be a new player, but I talk about that in those kind of guides and those kinds of videos where it might be able to help you out with that. Talking about fixing optics, is there any talk about adding standalone magnifiers for sights? Not that I've heard specifically, but there is going to be a hell of a lot more weapon customization and mods and rail stuff pertaining to rails specifically coming, so that might be one of them. Is there any information on where the hideout will be located in the open world? No idea. Sir Mosey Goose, thank you for the super chat with the $2 there. You could have put a message with that. I'm pretty sure you could have put a message with that. So thanks for just the $2 holler there. Appreciate it. But yeah, no information on how the hideout's going to work with open world yet. Do you think something similar to the contamination events in the Division would be cool for Tarkov? It would definitely be interesting. So it's also going to explain why there's radiation and stuff going on with your player stats there. So we'll have to see what ends up happening with radiation and contaminated zones and spicy air and alike in the future of the game. But if you have to get through streets to labs, is there loot in labs? Beat the other players there. Now, also, what's also going to happen with that is, are you going to queue into a map? That's the one thing that they haven't explained. Theoretically, if it is map to map, it should be seamless, which is going to go along with the open world. But if there is a load-in time, which they're very likely, or they're very well could be, not likely, but they're very well could be something like that set up for the early days of the map to map travel with specifically with labs. So it depends how they set that up, and that is one of the best questions that you can ask for that kind of situation or that kind of setup for that stuff. They just haven't spoken about that specifically. So in theory, if you make labs your priority and you have to get to labs by way of factory or streets, I'm thinking, and this is just me, this is from BSG, this isn't from Nikita, I'm thinking the way that they would go about doing that is basing it off of the time of that factory or that streets raid. So the factory raid that then feeds into that lab raid, or that streets raid that then feeds into that lab raid, that factory and that streets raid will start at the same time. So if you make it your priority from factory to get to labs, then you'll get there first. If you make it your priority from streets to get to labs, depending on your spawn there, maybe you'll get there first, maybe you won't. All right, you really need to chill there, bub. Jack, let's get that guy out of here. All right, I'll make sure that we'll have a spam bot for something like that. I saw that. All right, if we can also get a ban on that guy too. If only you checked my videos, bud, or if you had just like waited for a couple minutes. while he's here, because I am still here. So anyway, if anyone is still here that wants to know when the wipe, I've explained it like 6 times, go check out my 12.11 video. It's not from BSG. It's not from Nikita. This is my own personal thought. I think 12.11 is going to be a wipe, and we don't have a specific date on that, but in the next couple weeks or so, we could be seeing 12.11. There's your other answer for the wipe there. Please don't do that, guys, if you are trying to stick around and still being able to talk in the chat. So yeah, that was my explanation, how I think it's going to work with the map-to-map travel for Streets there and for Labs there. The GOAT. Thanks. Oh, I'm super behind. We know for a fact that Streets is a wipe. No. Last time they spoke about Streets specifically, they said that they wanted it to be a wipe, which it makes sense to be a wipe, especially if they end up doing the custom rigs and stuff. But it's now at that point where that's so far out, I can't give specifics about that because I don't know. I would say if you really, for some reason or another, need to know or need to have an answer, really, I would still say that when patch 13 pops up, it makes sense for that to be a wipe because that is going to be a major patch. So if 12.11 ends up being a wipe, expect there to be several patches and it being several months between then and patch 13. That's based off me. That's just my speculation and stuff like that. Will there be hideout raids? No. They've already said that a couple times. No. What do you think about PMC Karma? Don't you think that this is kind of system would force players into doing stuff that would put them in danger of being troll killed by an enemy? I talked about Karma, and I talked about how theoretically it should work in the future a few days ago. I even did like a little bit of a puppet show with it. So go check that out if you're looking for how I would explain that. But the super simple answer would be that expect absolutely everyone, whether the Karma system is in or not, expect...
Use microwave.
Why didn't that pop up? All right, alerts are active, Funky. I'll get to that in a minute, man, zombie. Every single person that you come across, everything that you hear, expect them to be hostile. You expect them to want to kill you until you learn otherwise or you see something to think otherwise, and you'll be fine. Will the wipe be a full wipe? Again, we haven't had specific information, but it should be a full wipe. Maybe they actually, you know what? I don't see them keeping skills. I really don't see them keeping skills. Maybe it's going to be one of the ones where they keep everything examined. Maybe. We'll see. I think it's going to be a full wipe, other than maybe they'll let us keep our presets and our examined items. Do we have more info about a wipe? Just join. Yeah, check out my video on 12.11. Check out my video on 12.11. How often do you play Fortnite? I've literally never moved a single pixel on Fortnite. I've never even touched Fortnite. I'm sure, I'm sure plenty of people think it's a good game and stuff. It's just I haven't had time. It wasn't my cup of tea. Even when it was a survival game, it wasn't my cup of tea. What is your opinion about the armor separate hitboxes? Go check out my video about that. I gotta speed up my questions here, guys, so apologies. Go check out my video. I think I titled it something along the lines of the biggest change coming to Escape from Tarkov. That's everything you need to know about that and my opinion about it and stuff like that. Other than the fact that I think it is going to be the most significant and actual biggest change coming to Escape from Tarkov, period. Because I think it's going to touch everything from the economy to the playstyles to everything. Literally everything. So go check that out. Everyone is asking when wipe, but why they should be asking when isn't the wipe? Yeah, that's the real question. When isn't it? Did add a question to his donation. He did? Oh, I see it below there. Okay, weird that it popped up in chat. Thanks for the heads up. Do you think the addition of VoIP will steal some of the magic of Tarkov away? That's kind of a weird question because of course it will. Like, of course it will. You're going to have those situations where people are going to be, you know, putting their music and whatever through that microphone. But I am of the mindset that it is for the greater good. It is a necessary evil. That I'm in that mindset myself. And also Tarkov works differently than the games that most people are worried about when VoIP comes in to ruin it. So those player unknowns, those rusts, things like that. So you're not going to have as many people swarming you as like a player unknown and even like a rust. And you're not going to have the respawn capability of something like a rust. So in Tarkov, you're going to be, because it's proximity, you're going to be able to figure out where that person is much easier if you can't even hear them, and then kill them once, and you're not going to have to deal with them for the rest of that raid. And theoretically, if people come in to spam you with that stuff, then you're killing all the players and all the player scavs in that raid, so all they're doing is making things much, much easier for you in that raid. So if it's supposed to be like harmful to you or whatever, then it's actually doing the opposite. Good morning, Dead. Thanks for the heads up there, Benjamin. I didn't catch that. Thanks for the heads up. So behind. Actually, yeah, I'm a little bit caught up here. When do you think Tactical Vest be in the game? I think the current plan is patch 13. I know they wanted it a bit sooner, but they ended up delaying it. So the only information that we have right now is that it is planned. They want it in the game this year. And as of late, I think they wanted it in patch 13 as well, with the custom rigs and the hitboxes, with the armor hitboxes and stuff. Do you think it would be a good idea to apply the way skills level to normal XP? So the first bit of XP is easy to get, but the more you get, the slower you get XP. Isn't that what already happens? It does. I'm not sure what you mean there, Stan, because that already does happen. As you level, it's more and more XP to level. Otherwise, I don't know what that would do to the game. Like, I don't know what the outcome you're looking for is with that. Excuse me, guys. Oh, wrong button. That's supposed to be my mute. That's supposed to be my mute. What the Oh, wait, does that even work for this? No, it doesn't, because that's not on that mixer, but you probably can still hear it, but it doesn't cut out my voice. All right, sorry. I hate audio. All right, that was supposed to be my mic button. Yeah, COVID. No, I'm good. That's supposed to be my mic mute button, but it's oops, fuck that up. Anyway, what's one feature you think Tarkov needs right now? Oh, so many. But if it really came down to one, I wish that the custom armor hitboxes was in the game sooner. Because, like I said, it is really the biggest change. It's going to change so much. It is going to redefine Escape from Tarkov as we know it, and that is not an overhype. It is going to hit everything. It's going to affect every facet of gameplay for everyone, because it's going to based on all of the weapons are going to become more useful. The top tier weapons that we're using and that we're fighting over right now are going to become less expensive because they're not going to be as needed anymore. Obviously, the armor itself is going to be less useful because it's not going to cover everything, and you're going to, it's going to affect weight because people are going to probably want to start thinking about wearing more armor so that they actually are more protected, and then they're going to be moving slower. So, actual biggest change coming to Escape from Tarkov is that armor hitbox and the custom rigs. And I wish it was in the game sooner because it's gonna change so much. And it's going to need the most time. Everyone's going to need the most time possible to be able to get used to it. Again, with the custom rigs, I think the current plan is patch 13, but I'm not completely sure. Tac rigs and custom rigs. Again, guys, if you need more information, since we're getting up on time here, if you need more info on that, check out the name of the video is in my Changing Point playlist for Escape from Tarkov playlist. And it's the title is something along the lines of biggest change coming to Escape from Tarkov. I go into super detail with that. I'm unsure if this had been asked before, but are they going to make reloading transitions smoother, i.e. canceling them with the mouse click? Yeah, I wish they had something like that. I'm not sure why it's not in. And that is actually one of the questions I have out to BSG right now. I do have several questions waiting to be. I'm waiting to get responses for several questions to Nikita himself, but sometimes if Nikita can't answer them, then someone with authority from BSG does. And then that's some of those Q&As that I have pop up are exclusives because I ask the questions and they get back to me. So that is one of them that I'm asking about with the cancel reload and stuff like that. With VoIP, you could play a fake grenade sound to scare players, but it wouldn't sound as realistic as in game, and you're not going to get the shrapnel and stuff. So I don't think that's going to be a thing really. And if it is, then you'll be able to tell immediately. Is there going to be a better character customization or more outfits to select? There should be more. There should be more cosmetics coming for sure. I think there's more faces, and I think there's more voices coming as well. What's the most important issue in Tarkov right now? Do you think they will manage to solve the issues of PvP? In time, we need more testing. The game's not done yet, so we can't really get into that right now. Medicine. I remember you from the other day, man. Please be good. I remember you from the other day. Please don't be spamming and stuff, bud. I'll get to your questions. But I don't think there's anything too significant that needs to be answered right now because the game is not done. Nothing matters too much right now past maybe some weapon balance and some other features specifically pertaining that could be some other features that would only encompass like one or two other features. I know I'm having a tough time explaining this, but really the entire game in itself is not finished yet. There's a lot of features that are going to touch way more features, if not the entire game, that are not in the game yet. Karma, that custom rig system, more scav factions, different economy changes, all that different stuff is going to. I talked about that actually in a video recently, where I think I titled it like the current state of Tarkov. I don't think the current state of Tarkov matters, and neither should you. Something like that. I go into super big detail and specifics about that. So go check that out. Go check that video out if you're looking for specifics on that. When do you think Arena will come out? They want it this year. But that's one of the stretch goals for this year. They want it this year, but it's a stretch goal, so it might not happen this year. Do you think scavs should spawn in reactively, like in the raid series, where they do in mass after a firefight? If only there was something that would make the scavs not die so much, so that if they hear a gunfight, they can go to it. It's like karma. The karma system should do that. So after the karma system, player scavs shouldn't kill all the scavs immediately. So theoretically, there should be way more scavs around the maps. And then if there's gunfights going on, they should work together to go at them. So that's the plan with karma. We'll see what ends up happening with that. And, in my mind, hopefully that's what ends up happening, because that's really cool. I think he means the pin pull, not the explosion. Even then, with the way that VoIP's going to work and with how sounds work in game, I don't think it'll sound the same. I think it'll be kind of obvious, but we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening with it. Do you think the plate carrier's plates will be changeable in raid? Yes, they've actually confirmed that. It's going to add weight, obviously, and we're seeing it up on screen right now. It's going to add weight if you end up bringing more plates with you, or if you end up getting a headshot on someone, you can take the plates off them and then put it in yours. Yeah, they've actually talked about that pretty extensively. It's going to be cool. I don't see armor hitbox changing the game that much. Abner, you're on another level of wrong there, bud. I can't. I like being nice to people a lot of times, but it's not. It is going to redefine the game completely. Go check out that video. I explained it in detail. That is just a very simple, I can be nice about it, agree to disagree there, bub, but like that is just, no. it's gonna flip the game up on its head, dude. What do you think about VoIP? Do you think it's a good idea? If so I think that VoIP belongs in the game, and it's a necessary evil. We talked about that. We talked about that earlier. Of course, it's gonna have its issues. There's going to be people that
you check microwave.
How do you feel about a set of non-lootable binoculars or a rangefinder in a slot like your compass?
Thank you very much for the 5, Sir Mosey. Really appreciate the 5 there, and I'll get to that in a second. Let me just finish my thought process here. After I've already forgotten, what did I just talk about? VoIP. All right, necessary evil with the VoIP. There's going to be people playing music. I just think that it's for the greater good. There's going to be so much more good that comes from VoIP. Hell, I've already made a bunch of videos talking about VoIP, and I've already explained my opinions and stuff on that. How do you feel about a set of non-lootable binoculars or a rangefinder in a slot like your compass? I know that they're going to add rangefinders and binos. I don't know. I think the rangefinder, anyone that's played Arma with the rangefinder knows that it works the same anyway in Arma. So I think that's going to be your, our binoculars. There could be regular binoculars that pop up as well. I'm not sure if they are gonna make something. If they are going to make something kind of like unique, like if they're going to make it work like a compass, I would see that being something that you can't loot like a compass, but that's not necessarily something that you would see in like a combat belt, because the theory of the things that aren't going to be lootable is going to be the things that fit on your combat belt, like your GPS and your compass and your radio. Maybe binoculars belong there. Maybe a small set of binoculars belong there. We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening with that. Because there's an argument for both it making sense as non-lootable and lootable. So we'll see. What new animations are they going to add, like mag drills or better movement? I have a video specifically about advanced animations. There's a ton. They're going to do vaulting, working ladders, body dragging. And Nikita himself answered that specifically with that most recent video talking about it. So I would go check that out if you want some more information. But there's going to be more time coming. Time question mark? Oh, we're at 10:05, guys. I lost track a little bit here, but we did have that stream go down a little bit. So you know what? Actually, last couple questions here, guys. Make them good ones, and we'll lightning round this shit. Because I do want to keep these to an hour on the morning streams. Let's get the last few questions here. Make sure you guys are doing at Nice Guy Space Tarkov. Make sure I can see them. Are you afraid VoIP will have a lot of fake grenades or reloads to cheat the system? Again, I don't think they're going to sound realistic enough. You're going to have to be really kind of, lack of a better word, dumb if you do fall for those. It shouldn't be that clear. It shouldn't be that clear for you to be able to do that, but we'll see. Do you think there will be a movement rework? And if so, when do you think it's coming out? That would be in the future. That would be like pretty long in the future because I haven't heard anything specific past the advanced animations, and we don't even have a date for that. I know it's work in progress though. Or no, not work in progress, but soon TM with the advanced animations, at least some of them. What do you think about leg armor? I mean, it makes sense, but it also makes sense to have an ability for a low tier or a very low level player to be able to quickly kill high level players that if they are wearing like the best armor and stuff. So that's a topic for another day. I can't really lightning around that one. Mate W, have a good day. Appreciate it, man. You too. Why do... I don't know, Jack. Maybe get better at Tarkov. That's probably why. You probably need to get better at Tarkov. How's your day today? It's going well. Going well. Hopefully the stream doesn't drop again. I can see when it's dropped, so I'll see if I can figure out why they did that. Omnicron container. We haven't had any specific dates on that one yet, but in terms of the size, it's supposed to be a 3x3 like the Gamma, and then a space, and then a 1x3 plot. That's the deal with the Omnicron. Omnicron. Are there going to be more interactions with AI? Yeah, we'll be seeing that with Karma. Do you think they will make eating and drinking outside of raid upgrade metabolism skill? It doesn't already? Oh, it doesn't, does it? That's been a while since I thought about that. Yeah, I think in theory that should make sense. I feel like there might be, maybe there's a reason behind that. Maybe it's buggy or something. I feel like they might have a reason about that. Do you think they will add leg armor? They've been talking about that for years. I think their current standing with leg armor is that they are not going to add it. I think that's their current standing. What about dealing with leg meta? How is what BSG doing going to change how combat works? We need badly to figure out how combat works to fight. I'm not sure where you're going with that specifically. I mean, we know that leg meta is a thing, and it's an option so that a low-level player can take down high-level players. So, watch out for them feet. Guard your feet, boys, if you're worried about it. But that's a huge topic for another day, really. I'll put that as a note. A lot of people talk about leg meta, so we can have that be for a topic for another day. But I have a video specifically talking about that leg meta topic ? I have it as a note. We can talk about that some other day. Do you think one should be? Do you think one should you be able to mine an altcoin like ETH instead of Bitcoin? No, it's not really like that. I think a Bitcoin's a one-off. How would one get the new container? We don't know yet. Exoskeleton possible? Not likely. Do you think we need to check the armor plate for damage like a bullet in a gun? Yes. Not a question, but I can't wait for robbery once VoIP comes in. It's going to be so much fun. There's going to be a lot of really, really cool stuff that comes with VoIP, but there is going to be some of that shitty stuff like the music stuff. All right, very last question here. With newer tools coming, would a tool wheel be a good idea, even if it goes against Tarkov's minimalistic HUD? That's a good question, and you kind of already answered it. They do want that minimalistic HUD. So... yeah, I'm not sure if that would really be that useful too, because they're not going to go too insane with it to the point where like just a keybind wouldn't help it. But in theory, I don't think they would go with something like that, because you did answer your own question there. They want the minimalistic HUD. They want as least as possible, and I just really don't see that being an option where you're going to have like the thing pop up like when you're trying to build in Rust or something like that. I just don't see that happening in Escape from Tarkov personally. All right, guys, I do keep these to about an hour, so that's going to do it for today. If you have any other questions, leave it in the VOD or come back tomorrow. We're going to be here at 9 a.m. Eastern United States time. And as always, if you need the latest Escape from Tarkov news, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And speaking of actually answering your questions, I'm very, very likely have made a video about your question. Even specifically, I've made like hundreds of videos talking about all this stuff in detail. So if you do have a specific question, like let's say it's wipe, so you would just go ahead and go to the front page of my channel there, type wipe, and then I don't know if there's a filter, but regardless, if you're thinking about asking about the wipe, go check out my video about 12.11 that I put up the other day. But let's say it's leg meta, you literally type leg meta, you'll see what pops up for that. If you want to know about future guns, you type in future guns, and it'll pop up for that. I've very, very likely made a video talking specifically about just that subject that you have in question. So, again, guys, thank you very much for hanging out. I'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern, and I might be able to see if I can get a stream going. It's either going to be on Twitch today to see if I can test these new settings that I have set up from yesterday, or it's going to be on the second channel. If you don't know what the second channel is, and you like more games than just Tarkov, check out that second channel. Otherwise, guys, thanks again for hanging out, and I also hope you have a nice day. See you guys.